I'm Francisca Kakraforsen, and this is Joy News Today. About 800 agitated workers of Volta Star Textiles Limited are demonstrating over unpaid salaries. The workers locked up the factory on Monday in protest of their unpaid salaries and other outstanding debts. Latif Idriso is at Draw Point, joins us on the telephone live now. Latif, good morning to you. What's the situation at the factory?
Good afternoon, Francisca. The situation here is chaos. Chaos is what is characterizing the Volta Star Textiles Limited as we speak. Now, workers here are burning ties and they've locked up the company. They've threatened that any management who steps here would be dealt with. Now, the workers here have not been paid for over a year now, most of them for 9 months, some over a year. They still do not have their salaries being paid. And that is the situation here, Francisca. It's total chaos here.
Now, has anybody come to hear their concerns? Anybody from the Textiles Company Limited?
Yeah, that happened yesterday. I've spoken to the managing director, Mr. Kowa. He told me that yesterday he came here to listen to the concerns being raised by these workers, but then they were not ready to listen to him. Now, the workers here have taken an entrenched position. They want only President Mahama to step in and explain to them as to why their salaries have not been paid for 9 months. They say the minister of this sector, that is Ecos Gabra, has not been here. He's failed to show up. His deputy, Mr. Hagan, has been here. The MP for the area of Pugeto Block, if you remember, somewhere last year, he was the one who came here to restore power. Excuse me, I beg your pardon, it was somewhere June, July. He came here to restore power after ECG take off power. He said, he came here, he gave them a lot of promises that he was going to bring in some Chinese investors to partner with Volta Star Textiles. That has not happened. So now they do not want any government representative. All what they want is for President Mahama to come in and explain to them why their salaries have not been paid, Francisca.
It's Latif, it's hard to tell that the president will be there
Exactly,
to hear
Francisca.
them, but are they going to keep up with it until how long?
Yeah, they say they are not living here. They are not unlocking the factory until President Mahama shows up. Now, management went into meeting yesterday, and that is the board. They came out with a payment plan for these workers. Speaking to Mr. Kowa, he told me that the payment plan is that October, they are going to pay them October salary. Then November, they do the same, and December, they do the same. Then next year, every month they pay you, they are going to pay 10% of the 9-month salary arrear. That is the payment plan management and the board presented to these workers, but they've turned it down, Francisca. All they want is total salary arrears of 9 months being paid to them outright. Otherwise, this company will be locked up forever, Francisca.
Latif, you talked about a chaotic scene. Have you had views or shots of the police at the place?
Yeah, there is no police officer here as we speak. I don't know. I think they did not inform the police about this demonstration and protest which is happening here right now. So we do not have any police officer. I do not know if the police have gotten any hint about this going on. But as we speak, Francisca, there is no police officer at the scene here at Japan Textiles.
Okay, so that's the situation at Japan Textiles, and that's Latif Idriso. Thank you very much. Ahead of the arrival of the power barge from Turkey, the Power Minister, Dr. Kwabena Donkor, is inspecting preparations at the Tema port. Beatrice Edu is with the team and joins us live. Hello, Beatrice. How far with preparations?
Great, Francisca. The officials of the Pong thermal plant have confirmed indeed that the plant will add about 110 megawatts of power in about 3 weeks' time. That's to the national grid. The project manager, Francisca Gwenya, says the project is complete, except that some sensitive parts are not working. And so that is the reason why it has not been commissioned yet. He's also said that in about February, that's next year, another 110 megawatts of power will be added to the national grid from the same thermal plant. And in the long term, which is between 2019 and 2020, almost 800 megawatts of power will be added from the thermal plant to the national grid.
Now, Beatrice, yesterday we reported delays in, the transport of the barges. Did that come up?
Indeed, the Prime Minister was not so happy when we got to the thermal plant. He was talking amongst us about it. So he's yet to speak to us. I suspect it's one of the things he would want to talk about and clear the air on.
Well, we'll leave it here. That's Beatrice reporting on the situation regarding the power barge's arrival. Meanwhile, Deputy Minister of Power John Jinapor has confirmed that the power barge has not set off from Turkey. Speaking on Ekusi saying on Asempa FM, John Jinapor explained that there are some documentations needed to be completed before the barges will set off.
Now, they straightforward. Omo a lower barge no. Barge no. And your ship. And no going to move it.
It's a straightforward answer. The ship has not set off. They have lowered the barge into the ship and quarantined it before it will set sail.
Now, a submersible na edebeba. Submersible is simply fidia a baction power barge na edeba. The Prime Minister Koye and say almost the ship maybe. So lower ship the burn so may they take it off. And no ceremony no Koye.
The documents are being worked on, so it can set sail.
15 days. About Bedru Ghana.
This work has 15 days. 15 days in Andrew.
Also between 10 and 15 days.
Well, that means that based on information on every honor, I will be on 15 days.
Let's be patient for the 15 days given by the Power Minister, and the barges will arrive. We are working with technical people and technology. Anything can happen and affect the original plan. We will not deliberately give a date and not honor it.
Now, there are two things I make. Either the make means to be my date, and now catch him say 15 days. You know, sometimes no machine will be the other to me.
Well, we're staying with the topic of the power barges, and the Member of Parliament for Ayawaso West Wogwan, Emmanuel Jakpo, says government is not being truthful about the arrival of the power barges from Turkey. He notes Ghanaians are not interested in it when it will arrive, but constant electricity supply. He was speaking today on the AM show.
For the good book of the Christians, in the Psalms, it says, pray for the peace of Jerusalem. They shall prosper that love you. I pray for the peace of this country. I pray that the barges will come. We will expect it when we see it. But fundamentally, what is happening is that this government is not coming clean with the good people of this country. This government is not coming clean with the good people of this country. Indeed, when this power barge had not come, we are informed, and you need to find out. You know, in the process, at least I remember that there was a parliamentary approval for another thing like that from a company, I think it is called Power or something. Something I'm not too sure of my head, from Dubai. When this one had not come, the minister has announced that after that one, it has come.
The 220, is it
250
okay.
megawatts. So
the generating barge.
Yeah. So
we heard that one was already in also.
So yeah.
Or almost in.
But then we should be making much more noise about it. This one, it has not come. The one that is here, let us begin to talk about it. Let the ministry tell us what they are doing. When are they going to finish? When is it going to be powered?
Okay.
You know, I don't think that the good people of this country are interested in the car power will come, the Ameri barge will come. The good people of this country want electricity.
Away from that, universities across the country may have to be shut down if they don't find ways to pay electricity and water bills on the various campuses. Public university students from across the country yesterday stormed Parliament, demanding clarity on the matter of utility bills. The students fear they will eventually bear the cost. Now, Pa Kwesi Edu is president of the National Union of Ghana Students.
As far as we know, none of our student leaders at the various institutions have agreed to that point. And in any case, if they have agreed to it, it would have been communicated to.
Are you sure of that?
I'm very sure. None of the SRC executive have communicated any of this to us, because before the meeting yesterday, I have spoken to a lot of the people. For instance, UCC SRC president, I was at UCC on Monday. to meet the Vice Chancellor Chairman, Professor Kupoli, to find out why Nooks was not invited, and also know the impulse of the meeting that would be taking place yesterday.
Did you speak to the SRC president? I spoke
to the SRC president.
And what did he say?
And I asked him that, do you think that the students of UCC have the money to pay the tuition? He said, President, we don't have the money to, we can't pay. Because I want to see the view of the people I'm leading, so that when I'm speaking, I'm not speaking for only 1 or 2 people. I'm speaking for the students of Ghana. And so I met the gentleman on Monday. If they had really agreed to share costs or pay part of the tuition bill, he would have told me. So I'm really surprised to hear that.
The bottom line is that the ability to pay is not there. And if there is not there, you can't make there to be there. And then the understanding is that we can't pay.
So you're not going to pay?
We are not going to pay.
There's no way you're going to pay?
I mean, as a concerned student of the University of Ghana, I know 1,001 students. The demonstration must not be the only available option to students. It should be the very last resort. At the moment,
but it's still an option.
Of course, it's an option. It's one of the most powerful.
So you don't mind studying in darkness? That's what you're saying?
Oh, we mind.
In a class of say 500 people, there's no PA system because there's no power. We don't mind.
When the contract agreement is that you pay your RFUF, and we have of course paid that. You pay your academic facility user fees. We have paid that. It is left for the 2 elephants to fight among themselves and ensure that the ground is safe for those who are there.
Well, Peter Kaba, who is Executive Secretary of the Vice Chancellor's Ghana, said on Newsdesk that the universities would consider alternative sources of power while deliberations go on.
Some of the meeting of the Minister of Finance, the Deputy Minister person came, the Deputy Minister, the Minister himself for Education was there, and some others were also there. We all agreed that we indicated that if there was a need for us to second students, we would. The government said no, that was a bad step. We said fine. But as the service providers are still disconnecting the universities. The subjects that are to benefit from this disconnection or non-disconnection are the students. So Vice Chancellor started to say that if that is the case, then let us meet the students, discuss with them how much they can further contribute apart from their fees, how much they can contribute as a deposit towards defraying the huge bills or outstanding bills or even the current bill. So if government paid the outstanding bills or whatever they are supposed to pay, if they paid, then these monies will be refunded. That was the subject matter of the meeting at UPSA yesterday. But unfortunately, the students said no, that idea would push.
But exactly how did you plan on repaying these students once the monies had already come to the university? I'm seeing a situation where level 400 students, for instance, pays some money and, government does not pay up that money in time. How do you refund that money to that student who has probably graduated by the time when these monies hit your accounts?
Once it is an agreement between the students and the university, your account is always credited. Your account in the students' accounts is always credited. And anytime you came around, if you had that, for instance, you checked and you found out that the bills were paid by government because you have already paid, you could come back and then you collect your money back. That one is not a lost deposit. Now the universities have also now instituted measures to go into partnerships with other companies to get other alternative sources of power, solar, windmill and all that. They've also contracted some institutions to gather some underground water and do water harvesting. These are the measures that they have been put in place to reduce the cost of utilities on the campuses.
Okay, so Mr. Kapa, you tell us that these students had actually agreed on this particular thing at their various campuses.
Yes, at their various campuses. You could call any of the vice chancellors, you could call any of the finance officers, you could call the SRC presidents. At their various levels, they agreed. It was unfortunate at the UPSA meeting, things turned differently because... So
exactly my question. If they agreed, why would they come to a roundtable discussion and then...
It was very, very surprising. Very, very surprising.
Can you give us...
Look, let me tell you,
sure.
My brother, at the University of Cape Coast, the students themselves got the figures and did the workings. Did the workings themselves and allocated who should pay what. and give it back to the Director of Finance.
Is it possible to have a breakdown of how much a student in, say, the University of Ghana?
I don't have the figures with me.
Okay. But is there a range, for instance? Are they to pay, say, some 200 Ghana cedis every academic year, or 500
There are some that have even paid 37 cedis. 37
cedis?
Yes.
What is the ceiling?
Come again?
What's the ceiling? What's the highest amount any student might have to pay?
The highest amount was, I think, 400 Ghana.
400 Ghana
cedis. For the year.
Some parents and wards are stranded at the Wesley Girls Senior High School in Cape Coast in the Central Region. The Ghana Education Service is set to question why the school authorities have rejected over 200 students placed there by the computerized school placement system. Richard Kojonyako joins us from there with more. Hello, Richard. Tell us, what more have you gathered?
Well, currently the parents are still at the school premises. They say they have been placed there by the computerized placement system, but the school is not giving them admission. But I had a conversation with the headmistress of Wesley Girls Senior High School, and she was telling me that, well, some of the students that they bring to the school facility, sometimes they do not meet the requirements set by the school and the standards set by the school, and they are even questioning the mode of placement. Who should the computerized selection process place in a particular school? And let me also mention that this is not peculiar to Wesley Girls. I went to Infantipim and it was the same issue. The parents are still stranded there because apparently some of them allegedly go to the computerized placement system, they pay their way through. At Wesley Girls, I was introduced to a certain girl, for the purposes of this conversation, I will mention the name as Victoria. Now, this lady was supposed to have been placed at Wesley Girls, but she was not placed there. But the lady insisted that that was the place or the school that she needed to go. She was placed elsewhere. The mother had to go with her to see someone at the computerized selection placement system there, and they were charged 5,000. They refused to pay, and the schoolgirl wrote a letter to the headmistress of Wesley Girls, and the headmistress had to act on the letter and then decide that the lady should be given admission. And so these are some of the considerations that are going into why the situation is like that and why some of the parents are stranded at the premises of the school, because apparently the school authorities say that they do not meet their requirements. It might be due to fraud, and it might be also due to certain things that have changed hands. And so that is why the system is like that. And secondly, some of the schools requested for, let's say, 500 students, and the computer placed about 800 students. And so the school said that their facilities are not able to absorb such number of people. And so that is why they are unable to admit such students into the school.
So those are some allegations of fraud and corruption with regards to the placement system, which we cannot substantiate. But Richard, we understand that GES is supposed to make some kind of declaration as to what the problem is and the way forward. Any word on that?
Well, the GES, I'm told, is having a meeting with the school authorities to listen to their side of the argument, why they are refusing to admit such students that have been posted there. And like I told you, some of these reasons, I spoke with the headmaster of Infantipim, I spoke with the headmistress of Wesley Girls, and they cited some of these reasons, the fact that they do not have some of these students, the raw scores that they possess will not even warrant them being given admission into the school. Some have been given some raw score to be sent to the school to pursue science, but the cutoff point, they do not meet those qualities. And so that is why the school, and so that will be the argument I foresee the school advancing to the GES, but we are yet to see the finality of this matter and what the GES will come out with.
Very well. Richard Kojonyako from the Central Region. You're watching Joy News today with me, Francisca Kakra-Forson. Let's take a quick break. More stories when we come back. Hello again, you're watching Joy News Today. 4 suspects are facing prosecution by the state in connection with the gruesome murder of the former DC of Nkwanta South in the Volta region, Peter Kojo Kenyanso. Mr. Kenyanso was shot dead by unknown assailants at his official residence in the district capital, Nkwanta, on his return from work on the evening of November 3, 2014. 1 year after the murder, very little has been made public about ongoing prosecution of arrested suspects. However, investigations by personnel of the homicide unit of the Ghana Police Service led to the arrest of 13 suspects. The Volta Regional Minister Helen Ntoso, speaking to Joy News, explained that 9 of the suspects were granted bail while 4 are on remand.
In court, I know our 12 people were picked, but as they continue going to court, I think about 9 have been freed or granted bail, but they still go to court. But I know that 4 are still in prison custody. That's on remand, and they still go to court. I'm told that the next last week they were in court, and the next appearance will be in December. I know the police are still investigating, and since they are still holding some people in prison custody, it means that they're going to come out, with their findings, because it's about 1 year now. So if they are still killing some people, then it means that they have found something, about them.
The Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection has come under criticism for allowing bureaucracy to get in the way of a charity initiative for the distribution of free medical supplies to health facilities across the country. As Matilda Wemega reports, however, the ministry has deflected all criticism.
Large quantities of the assorted essential medicines donated for free distribution to a number of healthcare facilities in the country have been left to rot at the customs warehouse at the Aviance cargo terminal at the Kotoka International Airport due to difficulties in clearing them. The medicines were donated by Direct Relief, an American medical relief organization, to Breast Care International. Valued at over $21,000, the drugs were meant for the treatment of a wide range of diseases, including breast, prostate and cervical cancers, heart and mental illness. According to Breast Care International, the medicines arrived in good condition at the airport in September last year, but the consignment could not be cleared quickly enough because of the delay in securing the necessary approval from some government establishments, notably the Department of Social Welfare and its parent, but the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection. Deputy Director in charge of NGOs, Delali Emmanuel, says they cannot be blamed for the delay.
This year, from January to April, we've done 2 applications for Breast Care International. So we are at a loss as to which one that the problem is with. But then they've also not reverted to tell us that they had challenges along the way. If they had, we would have come in to see where the loopholes are and help them to go through. We ensure that, as I said, this is not the first time we've worked with BCI. We will not deliberately want to delay their process just to do it. So I really don't know exactly where there was a problem. You see, if they had come to us, we would have rectified it quickly.
Public Relations Officer of Breast Care International, Alhaji Bashir Zakari, maintained the ministry is to blame.
The Ministry of Gender is responsible to grant it exemption. There, we send our letters.
When did you send these letters?
We sent in December.
The drugs arrived in September. And you sent
sometimes it arrived. The first consignment arrived in June. So she refused.
Who refused?
Gender Ministry. Gender Ministry herself. She refused to give us exemption.
Why? Why did she refuse to give exemption?
She put something to breast cancer. Why is mental health medicines? Why is antibiotics? different this. She the one to give it exemption.
Have you asked why the delay, why they refused to sign?
Because she delayed and she refused. She refused. So we have to pay 38,000 Ghana cedis as custom duties and other duties amounting to almost 40,000 Ghana cedis.
So were you given that exemption?
Before we get the exemption, it's too late.
Okay.
It will reach about 3 months, 4 months.
The drugs are meanwhile expected to be destroyed in the coming days by the Customs Division and the Food and Drugs Authority. Matilda Pamagan for Joy News, Accra.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health is criticizing Breast Care International for failing to follow due process. According to Public Relations Officer Tony Goodman, the ministry has a procurement process that needs to be followed before such drugs are allowed into the country. He maintains the ministry is not aware of the drugs that have been left to rot.
You know, we have a procurement unit, we have somebody in charge of what we call port issues and clearing of those items. I checked from him, he's not aware, he seems not to have a clue as to what is happening and as to whether there are items at the port. He's just not clear whether that is happening. He tells me that if we are aware, we would have helped them clear them. And they have also not given us any documentation relating to any item. So as I speak to you, the ministry is not aware of any item. All NGOs and any other person who want to support the country through donation of medical items should contact the ministry for these guidelines, go through the guidelines, or the simple thing in these guidelines is to tell you that there are some specifications we want as a country when it comes to equipment. There are certain things we need. We can't just come and dump anything on the country because we are in need. There are some equipment that are donated to this country and you have to spend all you have as a hospital to get parts to fix it. So it was as a result that we got these guidelines developed. If it has to do with medication, we should be aware, we should know what it is so that we don't go and bring any other thing, any drug to the country because we are in need. We should know what is good for the country, what the people of this country need to have, what is the right medication that is coming in. Then we can help you clear. If that is not done, we may not know whether you've imported something. We may not know whether what is coming is really for the people of this country or for a private gain.
Now, some months back, Joy News spoke to the Deputy Director of Pharmacy at the Accra Psychiatric Hospital, Chief Koka Esiam, and he explained that the system seems to be working, though there are no drugs in the system because patients who can afford are buying most of the drugs.
The government system makes drugs available in 24 months. So we are supposed to put in the schedule requirement 2 years in advance. Now the schedule requirement we put in for 2011 for drugs to be provided in 2013 has not gone through. We are in 2015. We put in a schedule requirement for about 50 different drugs, expecting the drugs to arrive in 2013. The drugs never arrived. The whole of 2013, we did not have drugs. Then 2014, about 10 suppliers won the contract to provide our drugs for us. Only one supplier has been given the go-ahead to bring in the items that he won, that company won. And it's only 8 out of the 50 items. It is the 8 items that arrived in February this year, and that's all that we have in the system.
The Deputy Director of Pharmacy explained that in the absence of drugs meant for treatment and staff and everyone who comes into contact with the patient are in danger.
The way we are handling the situation is we're trying to purchase drugs locally, and the patients are buying out of pocket. That is what we are doing, and the system seems to be going on. But so far as central government is concerned, it's only 8 items out of our 50. So it destroys our job. It makes those of us working frustrated and useless when our drugs are not in and our patients are relapsing. Our aim is to prevent relapse, and the availability of medicines is a very cardinal point in treating our patients. And if the medicines are not there, what do? There are some of these medicines that when they are not there, working in the psychiatric unit is a danger. You see, in the past or in rural areas, we restrain patients with chains and the rest. You go and see people, the charismatic churches, etc., they put them in. It's now not very lawful to do that. What we do in the psychiatric unit is to inject them with tranquilizers. You see, we put them to sleep, you see, so that we will be safe. The patient will be safe, the environment will be safe. By the time they come out of sleep, they have sobered a little. Even the drugs for putting them to sleep are not available. So what do? Are the nurses safe?
You're watching Joy News today with me, Francisca Kakra-Force, and in a bit we'll get the latest in business. And we're learning that some angry customers of Kaswa branch of microfinance company Dwadifu Adamfo have besieged the office premises to demand the withdrawal of their savings. We're joined on the telephone line by my colleague Eko Sam. Eko, what can you report?
Well, Francisca, I've been here since morning, and though the numbers have dwindled now, the customers here are still angry because they've been here since last week Friday. They've tried to withdraw their savings from the 34 Adamfo microfinance firm, but they have not been able to do that. They tell me the officials here have been giving them very flimsy excuses. Come back tomorrow. We are not working today. Come back at a later time. And they say they are incensed, they are angry, and they are not living the best of the Kaswa branch of the Dwadifu Adamfo until their savings have been given to them. I have one of them here with me. His name is Kwamina. Kwamina, you've been here since morning. It's almost 12. Your demands have not been met. What would you do now?
What we want to do is we wanted to mobilize and see how we can get our money, because we've been here, nobody's trying to answer us. We don't see anybody around, and so on. So we're just putting up strategy to find out how we can get our money, because we need our money.
When you came here in the morning, had the microfinance firm been open? Were they working?
They are not working. The place is being shut down.
Okay, so that is one aggrieved customer here who is telling us
Eko, let me just make an intervention. Help us understand why they want to withdraw their monies from this microfinance.
Well, they tell me sometime on Friday, they heard that the microfinance firm would close down. And so they had to run in here to withdraw their savings so that they are not defrauded, if I can put it that way. They say they didn't want the microfinance firm to go run away with their money. And so they had to come in here Monday to withdraw. When they came here on Monday, they were supposed to go and come at a later date. And they tell me they've been coming around since Monday and they've not been able to withdraw.
Very well. Have you been able to contact any of the managers or authorities of this microfinance to find out their side, their version of exactly what is happening?
Well, nobody, as no official is working as I talk to you now. I'm here and none of them is here. I guess that they were whisked away in a police vehicle as to where they were taken to. We cannot confirm.
Is this branch still open to the public, or they are still shut, as the customer said?
The offices have been shut down, and I also have customers here who have come from as far as the Federal branch of the microfinance firm to this place to ascertain whether the situation is peculiar to their branch or it's something of a nationwide action. They tell me that another branch also at Kaswa Akole is also facing similar challenges. There are customers there who have not been able to withdraw their money.
Okay, they want their money or they won't go anywhere. We'll keep our eyes on that story. Thank you very much, Derek Ecole Sam, reporting from Kaswa. Now, the National Lottery Authority is hoping to boost its efficiency and revenue generation mandate. This follows its engagement of Simnet Ghana to provide it with online lottery services. There's more in this report.
Simnet would operate alongside the existing online lottery service provider Lot Services. This affords the NLA with two platforms running at the same time, a move expected to enhance its operational efficiency and, by extension, its revenue generation. The NLA's decision to renew its relationship with Simnet follows a dispute between the two parties sometime in 2012. The authority is confident the re-engagement would enhance customer access to its point-of-sale terminals through the expansion of its retailer penetration across the country. The authority is also assuring lotto marketing companies of improved services, such as payment within a week after the end of the month.
Well, that's it for business. Baba Tando will join you in a bit with sports. That's it for the bulletin, but there's more news on myjoyonline.com. Thanks for your company. I'm Francisca Kakra-Forsen. Bye-bye.